short. So pay attention, can you afford? Everyday conversation, decision making, breakdown, point of views, of course. He say, she say, see how we play. Real life issues, hit the replay. Debate in politics, what sport you profit with. Today's word news, food for thought, so come get a plate. Pull up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome y'all to another episode of the Daily Dollar Short Podcast. It's so nice that we're all gathered here today. It's been a minute. We've all had life been lifing. We've all been doing things, being successful men and dads and stuff like that. And now we're once again back together. And not only that, but joined by the brother Trenton. Welcome to the podcast, sir. Wonderful to have you back.
What's going on, y'all? Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, absolutely, sir. Pleasure to have you back on. It's been about what, 5-6 months?
Yeah,
Since
June.
we had you on back in June. Yeah, brother. So it's a pleasure to have you back on to one, find out what life's been doing for you. Two, what life's been doing professionally for you, personally, and then just to catch up, one man to another, bro.
For sure. I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's been a great year. We got a couple weeks left in 2024, and 2025 is basically here. So just being consistent performing. We're going to talk about the book that you see on the wall behind me, The Power to Win.
Yes, sir.
It's just recently released on my website. Been performing, traveling a little bit, been home a little bit more than on the road, and expecting our first baby girl in January, our first child. So
man, let's clap that up, bro. Congratulations. Hey,
girl dad gang.
Gang. It is, bro. Look, there's no in my 38 years of life, there's no club.
Sorry.
I was going to say something, but I didn't.
Sorry.
It's always one. Usually bald-headed. But in my 38 years of life, there's no club or group I've ever been more happy to be a part of than being a dad.
Yeah.
And being around other men who are dads and good dads, and being able to spend that time with them and talk with them and share information and share experiences, and then also learn at the same time from them.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, congratulations on your daughter soon to be here. Welcome to the club. It is a experience of its own. It's a life unto itself on top of everything else, brother. So,
yeah, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, girls love their dads, so welcome.
Sons love their dads too.
Yes.
You gotta say it like that.
I'm just saying, it's different. It's different over here.
You're right. I'd have to have more guns. If I wouldn't be in jail already. Yeah, no, I'm with it.
I've already said whatever young man comes to my doorstep, he needs to have a business plan on how he's going to take care of my daughter.
Oh, already.
So
it's like a prom date thing.
Right.
Like this is like like we're in the high school.
Yeah,
like wait, what is this exactly?
No, I'm talking like
picture for me.
Like beyond
Okay.
graduation, the person she feels like she's supposed to be, which in this day and age that's like one in a million at high school, that whole high school sweetheart thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be later on. This isn't like 5th grade. Like, man, what's your business plan?
No, don't even. I'm gonna tell you right now.
You going to high school
nowadays?
Mr. Thomas, I'll bring her.
Yeah,
I'll bring
don't
the
do that in high
crayons.
school. Make sure they use proper grammar first. Like make sure they got good grammar. We don't know what these kids be doing nowadays, bro.
Right. Be like, you could type it on
That'd be funny as hell.
and you write it.
Bro, I have
the same word without autocorrect.
That part.
Right.
I be like, my kids hate me.
You know what? I might have to steal that though. 4th grade.
I'm a grammar. I don't want to say Nazi, but yeah. When it comes to my kids, my sons, because I already know, like the way social media and everything influence these kids nowadays, like both of my sons can read well, speak well. They can do those things because they've been taught to do it. But at the same time, I have to fight against the waves of social media and all the things. And it's no different than what we had when we were coming up. We just had a different slang than what they do now.
Right.
I also think it's infinitely stupider, but that's just me.
But Trent, man, I want to ask you, man, because you've had a very long, successful year. I think recently you went to do a performance on a cruise ship to Canada. Like, how did it happen?
Yeah, I did. I actually did 2 contracts this year with Norwegian Cruise Line. So we did one. I did one in January, down to the Caribbean, and then did one this past September that went up the eastern seaboard. We left out of Baltimore and went up to some of the different areas of Canada and ended in Quebec. So that was pretty cool, man. It was it's my second time in Canada. I've been to Vancouver before, but like the east coast of Canada is like totally different. The food is not like our food, of course. It's lots of lobster rolls and clam chowder and stuff like that. Yeah, man, it was cool because you get to meet people from all over the world once again, because cruise ships is like it's like the airport. It's like people come from all over to experience this particular region of the world for 7 or 11 days or however long it is. So yeah, Canada was cool, man. The people really enjoyed the shows. Really, really good feedback, because that's really important, as you move forward and work to get more contracts with the same company or different cruise lines. So yeah, it's dope, man. If y'all ever been to Quebec before?
I have not been to Quebec.
Okay.
Nah.
I gotta go to Quebec.
I've only been to Boston. That's as far up as I've gone.
The dominant language there is French. But like it feels like you're in Paris. Like literally walking the streets, like the architecture, everything, it feels like you're literally in Paris, but you're not. So
feel like New Orleans a little bit.
I guess you could say a little bit, but it's more of like the European influence, like as opposed to like Southern French influence, if that makes sense.
Maybe not quite as decadent, I would assume.
Yeah, no, it's very like, like it's literally looks like Paris, France.
Okay.
Like cobblestone roads, the buildings are structured together within the same block. Like there's no separation between them. The little alleyways, all that kind of stuff. Like it's super dope.
I do, with my day job, I do a lot of work with customers who are based out of Canada on both coasts, British Columbia and Quebec. And I can hear it in the way they talk, especially the ones that are primarily French speakers. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's super cool. Like I didn't hear like one car horn while we were there. Like people let pedestrians cross the road. Like it was like mad peaceful. Like totally different from New Orleans.
So zero crime, basically, right?
Yeah, it's probably very little crime. Yeah, I don't know what the drug use percentage is, but crime wise, like it felt very safe. So,
I mean,
how could you compare this SSF this year compared to your previous performances?
I think this one was really solid. Like I remember like thinking. I thought back to like a few years back and like how, had all of these performances that lined up, and at the end of it, it was like this major burnout, right? And the older I get, the more I'm like quality over quantity. Like this year I did the Welcome Affair at the Orpheum, so opening for Tamar Braxton, Eric Benet, and Life Jennings.
Yeah.
And then, excuse me, I did a event with Bill Rose at the hotel, which is now the Barnett. I had a couple other little smaller events in between, but it was super dope to like get to perform, at the Orpheum, and you just kind of have that like like it was a big production, you know, and that's kind of what I've been, you know, very intentional about working towards. So yeah, I would say this year was like really solid because I was able to actually still enjoy, and I did a panel discussion at the Suede Men's Lounge in the convention center. So it was me, E Buckles, shout out to E Buckles, artist by the name of Kendall Hearns from Chicago. He's based in Chicago. I think he's from Chi-Town. And another young gentleman. We talked about artistry and the business aspect and being a creative, but then also being the business side. So it was great to like be, you know, in the performance space with, you know, these well-known R&B artists, but then also have the opportunity to speak and be on the panel with other artists to talk about the other side of things outside of the performance aspect. So yeah, so it was cool, man.
I guess more of a catch up since we last spoke. The legendary Frankie Beverly, you know, passed away.
Right.
So how was he an influence on your music?
Yeah, man, I was actually on the cruise ship when I found out. Like I sat down for breakfast and opened my phone, and I was like, I think we all kind of had that moment, like, damn, like he transitioned, and you know, for me, like we all can say like he was a part of our, like, the fabric of our culture, you know.
Yeah.
Just as African Americans, as Black men, also just like the family unit, you know, like him and Maze's music was all about, you know, unity and love. And I think he did something that a lot of people wish that they could do and have the longevity that he did have, you know. It's just unfortunate that as he was doing his, you know, farewell tour per se, that, you know, he wasn't able to just enjoy life. And who knows what his life was like off stage, but, you know, just from outside perception, it's like he didn't have the opportunity to hang it up and then say, all right, I'm gonna go to South Africa for a month and just like, you know,
kind of enjoy it when it was all said and done.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's a testament to somebody who knew their purpose and truly did what they loved for a living, you know. So that's what I'll say about Mr. Maze, Mr. Frankie Beverly.
Mm-hmm. And were you surprised of all the I guess the trends on social media of our people in New Orleans second lining after you pass whole like funeral and shit? That was
not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. I will say the cutout in the casket.
Yeah, that was
okay. All right. What
that
was
next level, man? Shout out to the 6-1 stuffers because they made sure they sent them out right. They literally sent them out right.
They did.
Oh man!
Because at first glance, I was like, "Hold on, he ain't down here, huh? We ain't bury him." But then, you know,
but the acrylic casket though, like a clear casket,
right?
I think that definitely speaks to what you said about the impact he had on our culture, like Black culture in general, but New Orleans culture.
Yeah,
New Orleans culture. I think Frankie Beverly and Maze is tied into the fabric of it, because I know growing up, that was Sunday music, that was cleaning music on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. You always heard Frankie Beverly and Maze, something playing somewhere, you know, that for all the events, for everything. It was always something that was very New Orleans.
Right. And I don't know how it was elsewhere, but I mean, when you hear Before I Let Go, you know the party is like coming to the end.
Right.
There's gonna be a second line to follow, or you know, but it was like always. It's like part of the prerequisites for the party. It's like you have to play the song at the end. You cannot play this song at the beginning of the party. Like,
right.
You're gonna be like, man,
right.
He's a lot of side eyes real quick.
Right.
Yeah, we need to add him to the NOLA Walk of Fame.
Facts. It's crazy how many people like thought he was from here. Like he's from Philly.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. And his name is not Frankie. I'm gonna have to Google it because he took that as like a derivative of I want to say Frankie Lyman. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, yeah.
I did not know that. I'm
Yeah.
Look up right now and see. So Frankie Beverly, real name? Let me see.
Howard Stanley Beverly.
As I say, yep, you're right.
Yeah, his first name is Howard.
So how the hell he got Frankie?
Like I said, I think that was it's a clip somewhere online, but I think he took that after Frankie Lyman.
Okay.
It was somebody else, but he just did it and it stuck.
RIP to a legend, man, for sure.
Definitely.
So kind of fast forward a little bit, man. Like I said, I've always had conversations with you about how you've kind of motivated me with your Monday motivations and stuff like that, and you've taken it much more seriously now with running, and you've been training for half marathons. And this morning you made a post about the positives of doing your running. So I kind of want you to explain a little more about that. What the benefits of you gained from running?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, like when I was in college, I was an avid runner, and life kind of happened after, graduation. Like I did, my first official race was like the Crescent City Classic, matter of fact, 10K. And I just like slowly kind of got away from it. Like I say, life kind of started to happen, and I just recently kind of came back to it. And I was actually having a session with my therapist, and this was earlier this year. We were talking, about the various aspects of life, and she was like, what do you do outside of playing music? Like, what do you do for fun? And I didn't have an answer because, like I used to go fishing all the time. There was a multitude of different things I just like started to not do, just because I was so consumed with work. And I said, okay, well, I really thought about it. I said, all right, well, I enjoy fishing. I enjoy running. I can't go fishing all the time, but I can go running. I could put my shoes on and go out the door and, go do 15, 20 minutes or whatever. So that's how I originally got back into it. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to set a goal to run a half marathon for 2025, like that. Like those were my exact words. And she's like, well, I think you could probably do it this year. And I said, you think so? Like, and at this point, I'm just getting my conditioning back. Like I just got to the point where I could run a mile, not timing myself, but just run a mile without feeling winded, So I'm just at the point of building my endurance up. And I'm like, man, I don't know anything about, training for a marathon. I'm like 13.1, a half marathon, I should say. I'm like 13.1 miles. That's a long way to be trying to run. You know what I'm saying? So I just really started to get back into it and started doing my research and found a few different people who are, trainers that, do marathons. I also found the right type of shoes and just, found the NOLA Miles Club. Shout out to NOLA Miles Club.
Yeah.
So not just going out and logging miles or running by myself, but then finding a community, because that was the other part of it too. Being a part of a community that, everybody's at a different fitness level or different, running skill level, but everybody's out there, like they're building a community around fitness. Like they're trying to they're working now, not working. They are bringing awareness to fitness and just being in a community of people that, are like-minded. So that was my original like catalyst for getting back into it. And now it's like, man, like I'm trying to do New York City Marathon like next year or the year after, man. That's what my mind is now, because I did me and my boy CJ, shout out to my man CJ. We did our first half marathon together in October, the North Shore half marathon. And we were like, all right, we're gonna commit to this. And there's no greater feeling than that first time that you like line up for the race, but then when you cross that finish line, it's like, man, I could do anything. Like that's the like dopamine type of feeling that you get. And it's like, all right, when's the next one? So
Yeah.
our crazy asses, I started Googling like 2 days after the race. I said, man, let me see if they got another half that's gonna be like this fall before, you know, we call it a wrap. And sure enough, they had the Big Easy Halloween half on the lake. And I signed up. I said, man, you're gonna think I'm crazy. And I sent him a text. He said, well, my mom ain't raised no cowards, so he race too. So we did 2 half marathons within literally 2 weeks apart. So, but I paid for it because I was out all of October, and November.
I got a colleague. I think he's in his 60s, and he still runs marathons, and he loves it. Like he runs every single day when he can. Like he's had, shoulder surgery, hip surgery, foot surgery, still running.
Yeah.
So
it's
pretty cool.
It's definitely a process, man. Just like getting ready for a race like that, just getting like conditioning your body. Like forget the time aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like figuring out, what your fitness regimen needs to look like, your strength training, how many miles are you logging a week? Are you pacing yourself? Like we have a track workout Tuesday where we're going to be like working on speed. So like just getting into the, all of these like nuanced details that like really make a difference when it comes to race day. Fueling, what are you eating on a weekly basis? What are you eating the 72 hours leading up to the race? What are you eating?
Popeyes.
You mean Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. So it's so many things. Like once you get into it, just like anything, man, it's like once you start to learn more about it and build the respect for the sport, it's cool, man. So yeah.
I have a future Grammy Award winner, a future #1 half marathon winner, and best-selling author.
There you go.
How that sound?
I like it.
So let's get right into it, man. So let's talk about this book, The Power to Win. How did that come about?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the Motivational Monday series, that's something I just started doing. I started doing that in like 2021, and I talk about this in the intro of the book, about how I got to the point of writing the book, but it came from the place of doing the Motivational Mondays. I remember just being in the airport and just kind of brainstorming like, how can I bring more value to my supporters and people who have been following my journey outside of just the music aspect of it, right? Because the thing about what we do, no matter what field of work we're in, it's like what we do is just a part of who we are. It's not all of who we are, right? Mm-hmm. And by no means did I ever have any ambitions of like becoming a motivational speaker, if you will. I use the term empowering speaker because I think it's about empowering people to understand what they have within themselves, because motivation is fleeting, like you can have somebody yelling at you on a YouTube video, or you can have somebody that's like, being a lot more calm and has a more holistic approach to their how they present things, and it's going to find who it needs to find. But most times it's going to be a fleeting type of feeling and motivation, feeling and energy, right? So I archived all of the Motivational Monday segments, the subject matter. I just like kept an archive of each topic. And a lot of things I haven't even like talked about like on the Motivational Monday series, because I knew that they were going to be things that we're going to take much more time to kind of dive into than the 1 minute and 30 seconds that you are allotted on an Instagram reel, right?
Yeah.
So I started archiving and I said, okay, how can I build this out? So I said, all right, I wanted to do 52 principles because I wanted it to be something that people could work on, a workbook that people could work on through the course of 1 year. And then they could go back and work on certain areas as they saw fit. But there were like 4 principles. I was like, man, this has to be in the book. So the way the workbook is set up is each principle you commit 7 days to it. So you can start on Sunday, you can start on Monday, whatever. You just commit 7 days to it. And then there's a blurb that goes with each subject. So like the first principle of the book is just start. So I go into detail about how, a lot of times taking the first step, very hard. Just putting one foot in front of the other to get that momentum going. And then I talk about, how just starting, you can start to create a good momentum, and it's going to propel you forward. The next part, the Q&A part, is where we do the introspective work, and you start to really peel back the layers of, what you're dealing with, right? So like just start. It's like the first question is, what's something you've had problems? What's something you've had difficulty starting in your life, right? And you have the other caveat is you have to answer all of these questions as honestly as you possibly can, because if you don't answer them honestly, then you're not doing justice to yourself to do the actual work that's going to create the long-term change. Yeah. So you answer that question. Then the next question is, why do you feel like you've had difficulty starting this thing? So you have to answer that like, oh, people are going to judge me, or, I don't have the resources, or whatever the answer might be. After that, you work on exercises. So each principle has a set of exercises that are either action steps, or you actually, just tangible black and white, write them down steps that you work on over the course of the 7 days. So whether it takes 5 minutes or 15 minutes, however much time you're able to commit and allot to doing the exercises per day, that's where the tangible, that's where the work really happens. And then at the end of that, at the end of each exercise, you have a reflection. So there's a blank page in the book that you can write in the book. Like it's an interactive workbook. So it's made for you to write in, scratch out, highlight, all of that kind of stuff. Or you can write in a separate notebook, whatever your preference. But you write about the things that worked for you as you work through that particular principle, the things that came up for you, if there was any, resistance that you felt, or if you had an interaction with somebody as you were trying to work through this principle, and how you worked through that particular situation. So it's a really detailed workbook. Like you really have to sit down and do the work, because I'm going to, these are still things that I'm personally working on, and I'm going to be working through the book at the top of the year, and just kind of really building the community around people who are doing the same work in the workbook and seeing what's working for them and what's not.
What made you want to write a book?
So I will say that I think that we all struggle with a lot of the same things, just as humans, right? We all have things that we are challenged with, that we have, yet to work through or are currently working through. And in some cases, we don't have the tools. Like I used to shout out to my frat brother, Michael Ruffin. He was the person who put me on. He sent me a video of Eric Thomas. It was the As Bad as You Want to Breathe. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That was one of the first videos he sent me. And this was in it had to have been 2012, 2013. So I started seeing and listening to all these different motivational, messages from people like Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, all these different people. And I was able to take some things from it and apply it, but a lot of it is just you're listening to somebody try to hype you up, right? So for me, I realized that doesn't work, and I'm sure it doesn't work for a lot of other people. So I wanted to take my own experiences, both personally and professionally, and put them in a workbook that was tangible, so that people could do the same type of work for themselves, right? Because people, like Marlon has seen my journey for a very long time, and people think that it's just about doing hard work and you just show up and you just execute. And it's no, there's all these things that we all deal with that, that culminate to make a person be able to do what they do. I'm who I am today on December 8th of 2024 is not the same person I was on December 8th of 2014. 10 years have passed, and there's been a lot of evolution and growth, but that evolution and growth came from the experiences and the people around me that poured into me, and people that I saw and I was observing. I was like, man, I want to like be like that. I want to take something from that. So to answer your question, the goal with writing the book and the why is so that people can literally find the power within themselves to know that they can be successful and that they can create long-lasting change in their lives, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you for sharing that, man. It definitely means a lot. And what I'm kind of curious to know is, once you came up with the idea to write the book and you put all these things together,
Mm-hmm.
how did you go about executing the idea to actually make it a physical copy of a book?
Right. Yeah. So that part took a little while.
Sure,
because
yeah.
Okay, this is in a Word document.
Not PDF.
I'm like, I have the idea, I have it on my computer, but yeah, like, how do you get it from concept to, physical product? So thankfully I have somebody in my network, my good brother, Ross Williams. He's actually from New Orleans. I'm not sure if you all know Ross, but he's an author.
Well, yeah, he's in Houston now, huh?
Yeah, he's in Houston. Yep. Yeah. But he's an author and he's a publisher, and he has his own company called Williams Commerce. So him and his team, it's literally a full publishing company. I wanted the option of doing my book as a self-published, so I did, do it that way. But he did the editing and formatting and, helped me out with that and kind of walked me through that process. And of course, I was doing research on my own about, getting your ISBN number. I also talked to our frat brother, Fred Johnson, who has a book, Grind to Grad.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to Fred. I was like, hey, Fred, like, what was your process for, how did you get your book formatted? How did you figure out like what size the book was going to be? So he actually worked with the lady's name escapes me right now, but he actually worked with a coach who helped him like through the whole process of like putting the book together. So from writing it to formatting the chapters to editing to the cover design, all that different stuff. So as I was doing the research and talking to Ross and talking to Fred, I started just learning more about that process. So I would say it's probably a lot easier being on the other end. Like, it's a lot easier than people think it is to, and some authors and publishers may not like that I'm saying this, but
Probably not. I would imagine. No.
And I say it's easier because it's like you have the knowledge, right? Like, knowledge is power if you use it correctly, right? So yeah, that was pretty much the process, and now it's exclusively available on my website. But the goal within the next month is to have it published to the major platforms, so your Amazons, your Target online store, and so forth. So
okay, and what made you choose that cover page, that cover image? What made you want to use that one?
So once again, shout out to our frat brother Devontae Williford.
Hey man, Fred Strong.
Like a fraternity, like, and it just hit me. It's like, man, like so many people that in our fraternity were a part of like putting this product together. So Devontae actually took this photo. I think we did this pre-pandemic actually, and I actually had sent Ross another image that I wanted to use. And he was like, man, I don't know if that's the one. And then he actually, he was talking about like me actually having my face on the cover, because a lot of books, they don't have the face of the author on the cover, right? They only have it, a little square picture on the back.
Right.
But in the good faith and energy of like, thinking about like representation, right? I'm like, representation is key. Like, I didn't use my government name. I didn't use Trenton Ray Thomas. I used T-Ray the Violinist because I feel like an artist might be in Barnes and Nobles and they come across this and like, wait, he's an artist and he wrote a self-growth help workbook. Let me open this up and see what's going on, know? And that's gonna, that's intriguing them to see what it's all about. I'm a Black male, like I hope that this book resonates with other Black men and Black women. and people of color, and that doesn't close it off to anyone else. But I think that the representation is truly key, because a lot of times you get a book and you don't really, you're intrigued by the information in the book, right? But unless it's someone who's like a very well-known established author, like, what's the lady J.K. Rowling, like, unless you're like a J.K. Rowling, it's like, oh, I know what I'm getting, so that was kind of the concept. And the green, that was something that Ross and his team picked out. And I think it just kind of contrasted with the greenery in the background of the photo. So
shout out to Devontae. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Rare sighting photography.
I would like to make a request. I ordered my book, so if I can get it signed, I greatly appreciate it.
Okay. I
put my order in, so it should be on the way soon.
Oh, you just did it. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the other thing, like, like I do have people who are, going to be working with me as this part of the business, grows and develops. But yeah, everybody who's getting the book, like, it's signed. The first batch went out a couple of days ago, and like they all have personal messages in them. So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you for your support, brother.
Oh man, no problem, bro.
Yeah. Well, I didn't buy mine yet. I'm gonna buy mine on the 11th.
Shameful.
Because Mr. T-Ray the Violinist have a book signing, so I'll be there in person to have my book signed. So, Mr. T-Ray the Violinist, can you talk about your book signing on the 11th?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a group party. If that's the case, I'm gonna come cop mine then. The 11th.
Yes, sir.
11th. Hey, talk about it, T-Ray.
Talk about the book signing. Where it's at? Give us all.
I'm gonna cop another one.
Okay.
You go for Ashley. Go for Ashley. There you go.
Yeah, because it's not something that you share. Like it's gonna be your book, and you put your name on it. Be like property of. So we're doing the official book launch and signing at Dream House Lounge. That's on Barone Street. It's right across from the Pavilion Hotel. The address is escaping me right now, but me and David J. Wallace, who is the founder and owner of Dream House Lounge, we're going to be doing a fireside chat conversation. So we're going to be talking about some of the chapters in the book, some of the things we're talking about here, the concept and where the concept came and the idea came from, and doing a Q&A because I think that's very important because, like I said earlier, a lot of the principles in this book, I'll just give y'all a couple because, I think that a lot of the things in here are just like super relatable to anybody, make room for updates, making room for updates in your life. Maximum effort creates maximum results. Exude dopeness and the rest will follow. And that talks about not worrying about the instant gratification of people seeing what you believe to be your talent and your dopeness. Like if you build it, they will come. So we're going to be talking about a myriad of different things as it relates to the book, and just having a good conversation, man, and bring your questions. So yeah.
Yeah, it's 401 Barone Street. That's the address.
401 Barone Street. So yeah, we actually have another batch of books that should be in tomorrow or Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Because we sold a few. So
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be there 6 to 9. We'll have books available, and I may or may not do a performance of sorts and I'm only saying that because I was asked about that. So
I mean,
it's like that to be expected thing, right?
A couple songs,
We're gonna see. We'll see.
Because also it's like a happy hour, I think, that first hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be like a social hour.
Okay.
Have some music playing. I believe that. Don't quote me on this. I have to ask David, if they're going to have like small bites available. Because they sell coffee. It's a sober bar. They have oxygen, cannabis. They have Palo to all, all kind of different stuff. So definitely come out if y'all are listening, to not only support the book launch, but also support a local New Orleans business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess my last question would be for this, man, is would there be another book some down the line?
Yeah. So I think the goal is to do it as like volumes. So another book in relation to this one, maybe a couple years down the line. I don't think that. I mean, it took me 2.5 years to get this one done, so I don't see myself rushing that process.
Yeah.
But I am in the process of. I do have another literary work that's almost at the end of completion, which is my children's book. So that'll be coming out sometime later next year. Yeah. So looking forward to that, man. And just this book is, it is for adults, but it is also something that is relatable for high school students, because I think we can all say that kids are a lot more mature and know a lot more and deal with a lot more than we did, when we were in our adolescent ages. So
that's actually my plan.
Right.
I'm looking forward to getting my copies. Because I want to get 2 of them for my boys, because they 12 and 13. They'll be 13 and 14 coming up this year.
Yeah.
And just the conversations I've had to have with my kids at 12 and 13 are so far beyond the conversations I remember having with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
At 12 and 13, I was still, playing games and Pokemon cards in middle school, and, thinking about, trying to get to the barber, and, having new shoes for the first day of school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the conversations I have to have just being a dad now in this world, bro, and the age we live in now with social media and technology and access to so many things that they have access to now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, getting a copy for my boys and definitely having something that I can do with them.
Yeah. And thank you for the support on that. And I think that's, what you just said, Martin, is a great example of, like, if you are in a household, where y'all can just sit down and you can work through the principles together, and it's not like you have to start at principle 1. Like y'all can start wherever you feel like whatever principle resonates with you at this point in your juncture of life. So I think that, like I said, I think that people are really going to resonate with a lot of the information in the book. And once again, it's about doing the inner work, like it's about bettering and improving yourself to be better and show up in the world. And just know that you can win. Like, all of y'all are already winning. But like I said earlier, there's all things that we're dealing with that we may or may not be hitting head on, so.
But this has been a great year, man. Like we've had a conference before in June, and have another one now with you. It's been a full circle moment, it feels like. And to see you now in a book, and long having a daughter next month, I'm very happy for you, man. I'm very proud of you. So keep on winning, my brother.
Appreciate it, brother. Y'all too. I appreciate y'all's support, and I'll see y'all on the 11th.
I'm just looking forward to getting my book signed. I'm gonna bring those people with me too.
Well, I was gonna say I got my Sharpie on deck, but yeah, I got the Sharpie.
Yeah, bro. I'm literally 2 blocks away from where it's gonna be at my office, so I'm just gonna walk on over.
Okay. Cool.
That's where the oxygen bar used to be, right?
That's where it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been there before.
Yeah,
it's a tape delay. You said hello. I'm like, what you said hello for?
I forgot. Yeah, it's like oxygen and stuff like. Yeah, I forgot about that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really dope space. Like David was very intentional about how he designed, that space.
What you saying, Justin?
Yo, saying oxygen. Saying pardon my season age. What you do with oxygen? It's not the whippets, huh?
No,
Say, bro.
no, no.
Say,
It's
bro.
oxygen.
You're not that old, bro.
He said the whippets.
I'm older than you, bro, and I know what this is.
On that note, it's been a great episode, guys. So thank
I'm
y'all for
sorry.
listening. Make sure you subscribe.
I live in a bubble.
Goddamn bubble. Oxygen bubble at that. But that Trent, T-Ray the Violinist, thank you for joining us, my brother. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the 11.
Yes. Y'all have a good one. Peace.